If you think your nose is not that powerful, think again, because it's much more powerful than you think. You see, if you have a cold or allergies, your nose is not working at its best. A good way to identify a person is by their own scent. Odors are produced by molecules that enter your nasal passages and reach the olfactory up, which contains millions of receptors for specific odors. Once these receptors are activated, signals are sent to the brain, which interprets them as particular smells. This process is how you distinguish the smell of pizza from the smell of roses. This made more complex smells that weren't detected in the first part of the experiment. They repeated this process until they had 360 billion odor combinations. They then presented these smells to the participants one by one and recorded their responses. Male beetles, known as weevils, have antennae that work like satellite dishes to pick up pheromones released by females. They have about 50 million receptors in their noses, which helps them find ants and termites to eat. They also use their sense of smell to locate each other during mating season. Every year, scientists discover new species of animals that have abilities that we never imagined. If so, leave them in the comments below. We might even include them in future episodes. This means that there may be animals out there with noses that are even better than those we have already discovered. But the truth is that your nose is even more amazing than you think. Did you enjoy learning about the amazing powers of your nose? Well, we have a lot more fun stuff coming up, so don't forget to hit subscribe so you can join us next time. See you later! Echidnas produce a special scent during mating that causes the female's back to itch. She scratches herself against a tree to spread the scent and attract more males. This behavior is known as play fighting. And although it may look like the animals are playing, they are actually trying to get the female pregnant. These pheromones are among the most potent odors known and can attract mates from miles away. They have 80 times more olfactory receptors than humans, allowing them to navigate their burrows using landmarks with specific smell. These critters also release odors when they are stressed or threatened, and this is how they communicate danger to each other. Female weevils release different pheromones depending on whether they are ready to mate, which allows males to find the most fertile females. One of the smallest animals with an amazing sense of smell is the shrews, are only about 2 inches long and weigh less than an ounce. Despite their size, they have about 100 times more olfactory receptors than humans. This allows them to find food, avoid predators, and locate mates. It turned out that they could smell about 1% of the odors, which equals 1 trillion smells. And animals use scents to identify individuals as well. Scent also plays a big role in helping animals communicate with each other. For example, if you add more sugar to water, it will eventually taste sweet, even though water doesn't have a sweetness taste. Dogs can smell over 100 billion odors. With these noses, dogs are used to sniff out explosives, drugs, and missing persons. Bloodhounds can follow a scent trail at incredibly low concentrations, allowing them to track down missing people who may have disappeared long ago. Their ability to smell minute quantities of certain hormones even helps them find females in heat. Some dogs can detect the onset of a seizure before it happens, possibly by sensing hormonal changes in the body. These incredible snouts can even detect cancer. Cancer cells metabolize glucose rapidly, which produces volatile organic compounds that can be detected by specially trained dogs. Scientists are now trying to figure out which odors indicate which cancers so that dogs can be trained to detect them early. Similarly, odors can become detectable if there are enough of them in the air. But in everyday life, we don't usually encounter such high concentrations of odor. However, the world would be a much smellier place if animals could smell everything. They created odor molecules to match each of the 400 million receptors in the human nose and then paired them up. They wanted to see how many of these smells a person could tell apart. The volunteers in the study sniffed each odor individually and told the researchers if they could smell it. At first, The scientists thought the number of smells that the participants could detect would increase as more receptors were activated. But that wasn't the case. Instead, the number of odors that people could smell leveled off after only 17 million receptor pairs. Still, this means that humans can smell at least 17 million odors. That's enough to smell a unique pizza topping for every person on Earth. So you think of other ways to smell things like coffee or freshly cut grass. But even when you are not congested, you still can't smell nearly all odors around you. It's estimated that only about half of these receptors are active at any given time. And there are some odors that your nose can detect, but it isn't able to differentiate between them. So if you had a way to activate more of your olfactory receptors, you would be able to smell more odors. It turns out that your nose is capable of detecting far more smells than you realize. In fact, scientists say humans can smell over 1 trillion odors. How is this possible? Well, let's find out. In today's episode of Animalogic, each person has a different sense of smell, just like each person has a unique scent. Let's start with your nose. When you smell something, you're actually smelling chemicals. But what if you could smell more odors? Your nose already has many receptors, but they aren't all used at once when you smell something. In order to figure out how many smells your nose can detect, scientists designed an experiment. But they didn't stop there. The scientists then combined odor molecules so that 2 or 3 of the receptors were stimulated at the same time. This is amazing, but it's still not all that your nose can detect. In the end, it's all about concentration. Some animals have a better sense of smell than humans because they have more receptors. There are also animals whose noses are even better than a dog's. Another animal with a great sense of smell is the echidnas are mammals that lay eggs. There are even animals with better noses than naked mole rats are strange-looking creatures that live underground. It turns out that there are many animals with highly developed senses of smell that we do not even know about. Now, do you know any obscure facts about animals that you would like to share? In the meantime, now you know that you can smell more than you think you can.